In this video, I'm going to show you how to get Android Studio set up on a Windows machine. First, you need to go to https://developer.android.com/studio. Click on the Download Android Studio link, and you'll need to accept terms of service by clicking on the checkbox, and then you should be able to download Android Studio at the bottom. Make sure to click Save instead of Run, so that in case you accidentally abort the installation process, you can find the image again and rerun it. Once the image is downloaded, just click Run. You should see the Welcome to Android Studio setup screen. Just click the Next button. You'll be asked to choose the install location. Just leave that to be the default and click on Next. Click Install again to proceed with installation. The installation process should take about 30 to 45 minutes. There are various components that need to be installed, such as the Java Software Development Kit, or SDK for short, and the various packages that are needed to support the Android SDK. Hopefully the progress bar keeps moving, and just check back in about half an hour to see if the installation has completed. Just click Next and Finish to start up Android Studio. You should see this welcome screen. Click Next. Let's choose the standard setup and click Next. For the UI theme, feel free to pick either and then click Next. The final screen before the download starts is a list of all the components that will be downloaded. You can look through it, and when you're done, just click Finish. The last step of the install process should show that the Intel Hardware Accelerated Execution Manager, or HAXM for short, got installed. Just click Finish and you should see the Android Studio screen. Simply click on Start a New Android Project. For the application name, keep the default. Change the company domain to be your own. In this case, I'll use codepath.com. You can also leave the project location alone, and we'll also leave the include C++ and include Kotlin checkbox alone. Let's choose API 18 as the minimum version to support. You can see that about 91% of all Android devices use this version or higher. Click on Next, select Empty Activity, and click Next. And just click Next. And you should see the component installer adding possibly a constraint layout, which you'll be able to use later in this project. When you create an Android project for the first time, you might also notice another series of downloads happening. Usually what's going on is that Android is trying to download the latest version of a program called Gradle, which is a tool used to manage a lot of the software dependencies in your project. You'll see how to use Gradle in the future. And you might be asked to grant certain permissions to Windows, most notably the Open Java Development Kit, or JDK, to the Windows Defender firewall. Just go ahead and make sure to click Allow Access. After this Gradle download is done, you might also notice at the bottom that it says Failed to find Build Tools Revision 27.03. Make sure to click that link to install. You might also notice that you'll have to accept terms of service. Just click Accept and Next to continue. Once you've gone past here, your next step is to simply run the sample application. Click the Play button at the top and you should see a Select Deployment Target window. Now if the list is empty, it means there are no devices that you can use. In this part, I'm going to show you how to set up an Android emulator. And you can do that by clicking on the Create New Virtual Device button. The first screen should ask you to select a hardware device. Just click the Pixel device and click Next. You'll then be asked to select a system image and just click on the download link next to API 28, which should prompt you again for another license agreement to accept. Click on Accept and then Next again. Once the image has been downloaded, you can now add the Android emulator by clicking Next. You'll be shown another screen to verify configuration, which has a bunch of different advanced options. Just go ahead and click Finish, and this time you should see the Pixel API 28 device in the list. If you click OK and you see this error message at the bottom along the lines of emulation requires hardware acceleration, it means there's one final step you need to do. And I want to caution it's a bit tricky, so definitely take a look at the slide deck about the Android Studio setup. It's a bit tricky because different PC manufacturers have this option buried in the settings that can only be changed before the computer boots up. You'll need to reboot your machine, hit a special key to enter into what's known as the BIOS menu. Sometimes that's F10 on HP machines, sometimes it's F2 on others, and find the option to enable virtualization technology, or VTX for short. For HP desktops, for instance, when you restart the computer, you just click F10 before Windows boots up. You need to navigate through the menus using the arrow keys on your keyboard to find the Security tab. You click on the System Security item and enable the VTX option. Make sure you apply this setting and reboot. Now, if you have trouble enabling this option, your alternative is to simply connect an Android device to your USB port. Take a look at the CodePath guide, running apps on your device, and the first step is you'll need to install a USB driver. You can use this universal ADB USB driver, or you can find the specific one for your device. You'll then need to enable USB debugging on your phone. And usually what that means is you'll need to go into your settings screen, and if you haven't enabled developer options mode, you'll need to click on the About Phone, click on the build number 7 times until you see a message saying you are now a developer. And at that point, you need to make sure to enable USB debugging, and then when you plug in the device, you need to allow USB debugging. And you can watch this video tutorial to get yourself started.